Watch and burn.
Hey everyone. So tonight I want to discuss Plaid's Double Figure. This is their third release for Warp Records. And this for me is sort of what I've always considered to be like the first proper sounding Plaid record. Because up until this point, with Rest Proof Clockwork and Not for Threes, although they are unmistakably Plaid-like, the Plaid that I love and that I have loved for years and years, that band didn't really begin until Double Figure. And in that sense, that this being the most Plaid sounding album for me, this record sort of hit like a bomb, because I thought I knew what to expect, given what Not for Threes and then Rest Proof Clockwork had led me to believe. I figured that I sort of had Plaid's MO figured out completely. And I didn't, because those two records are sort of cute sounding, I suppose. Like they're sort of like an infantile innocence to them when compared, well, definitely when compared to the rest of their discography. But it's like there's I shouldn't have said infantile, that's incredibly insulting. A youthful, it's more of a Jesus, I've completely lost my train of thought. I shouldn't have said infantile. And then I was going to jump to juvenile, but then I thought that's kind of rude too. So I would say youthful. There's a sense of like youthful exuberance that is unmistakable on their first two records for Warp. But they hadn't figured out that sort of like Plaid catchiness yet. Touches of it would show up on Rest Proof Clockwork for me by way of Dead Sea and Dang Spot. But it wasn't until Double Figure, and especially with the track Ian, however the fuck you pronounce that, E-Y-E-N, that is when, like, I was going to say crass, that's when Plaid landed for me. It was like, oh Christ, this Double Figure record. Everything about that record is different. No way were you prepared for how that record was going to sound if you were solely basing it off the blueprint that Rest Proof and Not for Threes sort of set up. Double Figure changes everything. There's a handful of songs on there that are incredibly short. There's way more tracks overall. The design is completely out of left field, and it just doesn't fit into their discography really up until that point. But Double Figure would be a really good precursor, I suppose, for what was to come. Like Double Figure to me has echoes of everything they've done since on it somewhere, somehow. You know what I mean? At times I hear chunks of Do Matter. You know what I mean? So even though I will argue that this record is still sort of flawed, and it's like those TAC tracks, the 4 or 5 TAK tracks, TAC, whatever the fuck, it's almost like they're there just for fun. Like they don't really serve any purpose. They're all a minute a piece. There's nothing really to dig into. They're cool and everything, I suppose, but they're so brief that it's almost like the guys in Plaid were attempting to pad the runtime for some reason. They're like, fuck, we're 5 tracks short. This can't be another EP. We got to make an LP. Tack on some tracks. You're like, fucking right, tack. But we're going to take out the C and just leave the K, so it's TAK. See what we did there? Because we're clever. Maybe that's exactly what it was. Maybe they decided to tack on these 5 songs. I don't know. This record is the beginning of a band that I have loved for years for me. And I know, of course, please fuck, I know it's technically not the beginning, but it's their beginning for me. So, yeah. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discussed Plaid's third record for Warp Records. And that is the absolutely amazing and in a lot of ways landmark release, Double Figure. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. Don't forget that you're amazing and that I really appreciate you. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.